Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be doing an AI game with FineArt, playing against Zheke 8P from China. Zheke, as of this video, is ranked number 14 in the world, but he is definitely one of the young, up-and-coming Chinese stars. Yeah, let's get into it. Before I start, the main focus for this game is, one, of course, FineArt makes some very obscure decisions, which are very exciting and I think important to analyze as well. Yeah, let's see if black can counter what white is doing. As always, this game is played on Fox. I believe it was 1 minute main time with 10 60-second Byoyomis. This game is a little old, maybe like 2 months old, but still good study material, of course. White plays the big Shamari in the corner, and black approaches immediately. And then white ignores. Black backs off. White ignores again. Black then attaches, saying, okay, I'm done following you around, right? And something not super interesting happens, but it is important to point out. Now, we would consider this kind of like a joseki nowadays, where, black can either choose to jump out or come down. Black wants the territory, black can come down. If black wants to take the outside, black can jump. But in this case, black actually decides to tenuki. So why make this exchange in the corner if you don't continue? And the reason for that is black doesn't know what black wants right now. Black doesn't know if he wants to play here or if he wants to play here. And this is kind of like an unspoken thing about Go, where when you choose which one you want, you automatically choose what your opponent gets. So for example, if black comes down, well, it kind of forces white to play this sort of joseki, right? Like this. Like this. And it makes the decision for white, right? White would Atari first, sorry, but it makes the decision for white. Or if you do the other one, it forces whites to then, play this continuation. But by leaving it, by you not choosing which one you want, it also makes it undecided for white. So it's kind of like you're leaving a question mark as to which one you're going to pick. And let's say white wants to resolve it. Then white has to choose what white wants. So by you choosing a certain joseki or sequence or anything, you automatically choose that same joseki for your opponent. So that's why it's good to leave josekis unfinished or things like this unfinished, because it puts it into your opponent's, puts it in their court. It makes them decide what to do with the corner, in this case, right? Whereas if black chooses, then it kind of makes the decision easy for white, like, oh, we're doing this one, right? So that's just something to think about. It is a little advanced thing to think about, advanced tactic, but that's why you leave, things like this. That's why white's able to ignore, this side. Because if white chose, something very simple, it would decide for black what variation to choose, right? But by leaving it, it leaves it a question mark. Like, does black want to kick in this corner? Does black just want to pincer? Does black want to just come down? And that's good if you leave, if you let your opponent decide the answers to the questions you're leaving, because they might get the answers wrong. Of course, you can't leave situations that are too big, right? So that's why you see a lot of tenukiing in the opening, but once fighting starts, you kind of can't do it as much. But that's why you see all this jumping around in the opening. So just try it, especially when your opponent isn't, playing contact moves per se. Always consider ignoring. So then white approached, and then black finally says, okay, I have protected both my upper right and lower right corners, and you have not protected this side, so I am going to split. And this is a very reasonable move. And then white attaches. So what is the point of this attachment? Well, if white does something like this, and even if black plays very simply, it feels pretty lackluster for white, sure. I remember seeing in a book on Miai, when I first learned what Miai was, this exact situation, where white is alive in Miai, because if black takes this spot, white can take this spot and white is alive. But if black takes this spot, white can take this spot. So it's important to note, white would be alive after this. But black gets a pretty strong shape on the bottom. Black gets sente. And again, it's like, even if black did this, I mean, this feels pretty good for black, I must say. Black takes the corner, white takes like 5 points on the side. So white doesn't want to just live like this, right? So that's why white attaches. So the point of this attachment is if black hanes on the inside to try to cut white, white will now attach. And if we do the exact same sequence, notice black can't play here because white can cut. So black has to back off, but then white cuts. And you can see now white has cut off this P5 stone and has created a cutting point at O3. So let's say black resists. White can double hane. If black just connects, if white fixes, you can see this result, white gets a bigger corner, and there's now weaknesses in black's shape. Right? There's a cutting stone, there's some aji at N2, so black's outside is not super solid. It's not super solid, and white's corner is bigger. So the point of it is it's going to create this cut, and like white might even be able to fight this too. It's pretty complicated though. So usually, if this happens, black will just extend up, and then white will connect. Black would trade the corner for some outside thickness. Black wouldn't do this though, because black played this R5 stone, not to just take one stone, but to attack the whole group, or to attack this group in the bottom right and the group in the upper right. So in the game, black hanes on this side, going after the whole group. And then white pulls back. I've seen in games, white usually hanes here, and then something like this happens. Point of this, white gets more thickness to not necessarily attack, but to isolate this R9 stone. I think white doesn't do this in this case because white has a stone here that can be pretty heavily attacked if black were to kick and then jump. Right, now that black has these stones here at L5, white's going to be in bigger danger. So that's why in this game, white just pulls back and then black connects. Now white considers this is a good enough exchange and backs off. Or tenukis, I mean. Black hanes strongly on the outside. And then white does something strange. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say strange. Again, white leaves the question mark open. How are you going to handle the upper right, black? So white just ignores. White doesn't know what white wants directly, or at this time. White can attach here. White can pull this back. There's a couple options for white here. So white says, okay, I'll just leave it. And again, this move is big. It splits black's potential left side area. Black says, okay, the upper right's still pretty big. And if you change the order of moves, right, like if black kicks, it'd be as if white attached, which, you know, that's not a good exchange. So black says, that's good enough for me. And then white just ignores. So you can see white was able to give up some potential on the upper side, upper right side, to gain an advantage on the left side. But I'm looking at this board and I'm like, well, black's point of R9 was to attack this R14 stone, and white still hasn't answered the lower right. So I'm not sure what white's going to do, or This still feels pretty decent for black. And then black jumps, yep. This is a very good move. Builds the upper right while attacking the lower right. And then white actually extends this out. Black extends, or connects back. White extends, black extends, white extends, black extends, white extends, black extends. So why is it so vital for black to push from behind? Because even though playing a move like this, or something, right, feels really good, when white blocks, oof, that top side becomes white territory so fast. And there's a potential cut here. So that's why just extending and taking liberties is really important. It's why black doesn't do this, because black wants to take away liberties from white. White then extends up, Hanes for good shape, and then comes up again. So white is gonna probably sacrifice these 5 stones and play from these stones. Black Hanes, white Hanes, and then black extends. Black would like to do this, but there's some really bad Aji in the corner. Yeah, if white does that, black needs to come back, and then white can come back here. So, yeah, pretty risky for black. Not even risky, but just it lets white off the hook more easily because it makes S13 Sente. And then white peeps, and then actually just changes direction to the bottom right. Again, white's so confident, right? White left this bottom right group after this jump, says, I'm confident that I can make this live, but also white never gave black the chance to play another move on the bottom. Right, all these moves on top. If black wanted, black could, take out the corner, but again, this is just way too big. And white can still, later on, let's say black just does whatever. Later on, white can still come out. So it's actually pretty hard to attack this bottom right group. Once again, after white peeps, right, white has strengthened these stones, so then white deals with the bottom right. And then black says, have you forgotten about these stones? Jumps, extends, and then black Hanes. Yeah, take the 5 stones. Seems pretty big. Protects the cut as well at 0.15. And white turns though. Black peeps. White covers. Black jumps. Again, helping his right side group while keeping white's group here and white groups here. And the bottom right and the right side separated. White jumps to make a base. And then black jumps to secure the 5 stones. And then white takes the bottom left. So this is interesting, actually. I really only ever see this move. At least by amateurs. Well, not amateurs, but by humans, I should say. Of course, though, when you do this one, black can live. This is just alive. Even though white gets both of these moves here. It's another me-eye situation, where since black has definitely an eye in the corner, black can live by either attaching at E2 or B5 because it's a symmetrical situation. So if white protects, black is then alive, and vice versa, black is alive. So I guess white is taking up black's space and it's hopeful for black, forcing black to run out, saying black, you need to run out if you want to live with that stone. And then black says, you keep ignoring the right side, so I'll keep pestering you. So black goes straight at the shape point. And then white attaches underneath and cuts. Black Ataris and then Hanes. And then white cuts on this side. White, quote unquote, can technically cut on this side. But actually, whether black has 2 choices. Black can do it this way, where if white descends, then black connects. And then black can get these moves in Sente. And because this move is an Atari, that means black can play pretty strongly into white's side here. It's like white blocks, black can actually then just do this and really damage white. Yes. And maybe peeping first is bad. Like getting this move is pretty important in attacking the lower right. And of course, white's actually not alive either. It's still ko technically. Or black can cut the center, right? So there's many options for black after this situation. Black can also choose to do a hane here, where if white tries to resist, white actually would die because white would run out of liberties. So this would force white to have to come back and protect here. And in this way, this way also damages the right side. So probably this way is better than the one I just showed because black connects. White definitely only has one eye here and is also damaging the lower right. So that's why, even though white can Atari down, white doesn't want to. So white Atari's there and then plays here. And this move is good because it captures S13 but also protects S15. Plus, playing this way also means black can't cut because after this, black cannot connect. So white would already just be connected. Black Ataris, and then white actually just jumps. Again, black can't cut, so white just jumps out. And then black pincers / extends. And then white plays this move. And now you can see if black tries to play the same move, white can just block, and black is dead locally. But black turns his attention to the upper left. Now black finally decides, okay, since I have this wall here, now I don't want the outside, I want the corner. So that after this variation, white's outside is not going to be worth that much because black has stones on the upper side. So this is really good timing, and this is why leaving situations like this is good. And then white jumps again, and then black fixes. White's able to save these stones if black ignores. And again, because of this cut at O15, black doesn't want to have to come back and protect at O15. And then white pincers. Black then kicks. White extends up, and then black plays here. So this is an interesting situation because if white plays here, black's going to hane and then play here, which is setting up a kind of ko life and death shape. Like this is obviously a ko, right? White would like to think about playing b2 directly, but black is actually just alive after black plays at a5. Because even though it looks like white can take out black's eye by playing at b3, this move is threatening a lot of cuts here. And again, white has to go here. But then black's able to push, and white has too many cutting points. Like if white directly resists, black can cut, and then cut. And you can see it just hane. Or probably Atari, and then hane. Right? This would be a disaster for white. And if white tries to resist because of this black stone, very similarly. Cut once here, like this, and then cut. And again, this is very dangerous. Yeah, very dangerous. Maybe cut this side. Yeah, cut this side. Because if white protects, then black can turn, and that's sente. If white fixes, then this is an Atari. Extend up, sente, and then capture. Ladder. Actually, ladder doesn't quite work for black. Maybe. This is definitely an interesting situation. And even if... Oh, the ladder doesn't work, but the net does. Duh. Yeah, net works. Okay. Always look for the net. Always look for the net. Something like that, though. You can see this is just... It would seem unreasonable, especially if the game is still playable for white, to go for an all-out kill like this. And white can actually play like this to kill black because getting b3 is actually mi life. White takes out this eye, black makes 2 eyes by going here, and same thing this way. Interestingly though, this move is kind of interesting, just taking this move directly, because if black blocks, black is still not alive here, because if black takes this eye, actually it's a ko. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's a ko. This ko here, like this. White can play, if white just goes here, black is alive, but white can play here to make a ko for the shape. So it's basically it's ko either way, I guess. So because it's ko either way, white says, okay, I don't really mind, and I'll just go here. You ignored my move at k3, so I'll just not answer you. Black plays at L2, and then comes down. So probably using h3 while he can. And then white plays an attachment here. Now you can see white's plan all along with these moves at k3 and k5. Is to attack actually this whole group here. And black extends, and white hanes. Now white's actually cutting black off. Black plays there. White ataris, right? Capturing the stone. Black peeps. White pushes. Black covers. White blocks on top. Black connects. White descends, which is sente, because now black's cut off here. That means if white can kill, if white saves the stone at r7, white can kill. So black connects, and then white attaches. But after this, black resigns actually. I believe it's like move 98. I'm not sure exactly, but under 100 moves, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, black's dead here. Like this, come down. You can see white would win this semi-eye. Yes. So, yeah, just too painful. And if you can see all these moves white were playing that were center oriented. Now, even if black, because it's still ko up here actually, right? So let's say black dies on the bottom. But black thinks he can cut here. It's actually still ko. Or is it still ko? White would do this directly. Now it's ko. So this isn't even a clean kill up top. So, yeah. Resign is definitely reasonable. So I think the two main problems in black's play that I can see, again, don't want to criticize, number 14 in the world, but what it feels like is taking these 5 stones initially was just too slow. I want to see black play a little faster, maybe like jump here, and try to do something just a little faster. Maybe black didn't want to give up the Yaji here, but it just didn't feel good enough, or even just push once more, right? Maybe white jumps, do your peep, and then something. I don't know, just something. Just playing at k16 is too passive, I think, because when white extends, you can still play this kind of move, or white isn't technically alive. You could not attack, but white, if white lives with these stones, white's not getting any points. So it maybe just felt a little too slow. It's definitely solid, but felt a little too slow. And secondly, and this is more so because of what happened in the game itself, but right at the end, when white's playing these moves here, black tried living in the corner. Again, it's much easier to say after the fact, but the corner was just not big enough, especially after white jumped and black got this move, right? Black had to spend 2 moves to live in the corner with like 5 points, 6 points, whereas white then was able to attack black. So maybe black didn't see how weak he really was on the right side. I'm not sure. But yeah, those are my takeaways. But you can see how much FineArt loves to Tenuki. Loves to Tenuki. And not just Tenuki, but leave question marks. And black was good at that, doing that too. So you can see black definitely studies AIs. But yeah, it's hard to do it against, the AI itself.
Yeah, I'll just fast forward to the end. Yeah, this is when black resigned after white Q2. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for this game. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. And look forward to the next video. Thank you for watching.